the tiny home movement that's been growing over the last few years.
Yeah.
Actually since 1987, believe it or not. But
we've just heard about it
exactly,
the past few years.
Yes.
But yeah.
And Ontario's way behind most other places, but that's okay.
Okay.
We're getting there now.
Welcome to the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast. I'm here today with Daniel Ott from White Willow Designs.
Thanks, Mo.
Hi. So tell us about your career. You're an architect. How long have you been an architect?
I'm not technically an architect. I'm considered a designer, or an other designer if you want to be really accurate.
Okay.
But I own White Willow Design, where we hire all of the other people. So we have architects and engineers and interior designers.
Beautiful.
I started this company about 7 years ago, and that was after 10 years of being a contractor and realizing that the way that we were trying to help people was not working well because they were not being helped well before in the design and planning aspect.
Okay.
So I started this specifically to give people a better alternative on how to come up with a more complete planning package to help the contractors out and to help the clients out so that they don't have their cost overruns and time overruns and all that sort of stuff.
So what is it that made you successful so far?
It's really that drive of helping people, of why we're here. We're not here to just design for people, and whether they build it or not doesn't matter. It's because we're actually out there to help people. So I truly think it's that passion that's made us successful, but it's also just clearly showing them that this alternative is a much better way to go about the planning process.
Mm-hmm. So are you more like a contract planner, project manager of design construction?
Yes. Yeah, it's like a general contractor in planning stage.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it is, because traditionally in construction, you've had the architect, and you've had an engineer, and then you hire an interior designer later, and you're trying to retell your story to each different company, and then they all interpret it in a different way. So now you're telling that story to one company that has one team working on one vision, and it all comes together, and then we help throughout the construction phase as well, not taking over for the general contractor, but helping along, so that again, you still have that same vision right to the end of the project.
Very cool. Okay, I get it now. How long have you been doing that?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So what trends have you seen so far in those 7 years?
Projects are people are changing the way they think about the design process. So when I first started out, to get architectural drawings for a permit was something everyone had to do, so they did, but not necessarily because they wanted to. But people now are starting to do design because they want to. They want it to be planned out properly. Housing prices have increased drastically over those 7 years, so if they plan it out properly, they have the proper thoughts that it'll be a better investment for their home so that their home will increase in value even more afterwards.
Okay.
Another trend that I've seen a lot is multi-generational living.
Okay, cool.
Last 3 years for sure, we're doing a lot of, hey, my kid lives in my basement. I really want them to leave, but they can't afford it. What can we do?
Yeah.
So we've converted garages into dwelling units. We've put second stories on houses as secondary dwelling units, apartments, duplexing houses, all kinds of things.
That's super cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more and more. And what area do you service? Like, where do you do that most often?
The multi-generational living is most often Oakville, Mississauga.
Okay.
Seeing a bit more of it in Scarborough now as well.
Okay.
But places where the market is a little bit more expensive to start with.
Yeah, so the market's unaffordable for someone to move on.
Yeah.
First-time home buyer versus Hamilton, where it's a little bit more affordable.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And then when you think about realtors, so you're talking about design, does that help to work with a realtor in terms of getting the design done before the house goes for sale, let's say, and not do the construction? Have you ever done that?
I've not by choice.
Okay.
We have done a couple maybe in like 2 or 3 in 7 years of where we've done a design and then they don't end up doing it and they sell the house instead.
Okay.
I have not kept in touch with them to realize whether or not they actually got more money because they had a design done or not.
Yeah, that's what would be my...
Certainly I have not been called back afterwards to revisit that design. So
Okay.
I don't know what's happened to those few projects, but that has not been a typical thing.
No. Okay. We talked about architectural photography. You've used that for your projects. Yes. What do you think the benefits is for you to show what your projects look like?
Yeah, so it's great. I mean, you need to show something. We have plans and we have computer renderings which look nice, but it's not the finished product, right? It's what we're doing beforehand.
Yes.
What's really great is when we get a architectural photography that's at the same angle of one of our renderings, or we can always change the angle of our rendering afterwards to reflect it. But then it's really great to be able to show people, hey, look, this is what we did before the project ever started, and this is what it looked like when it was done, and now you can see how accurate the plan was to be at the beginning, or how accurately it was built out to finish.
Yeah, very cool. And then talking about Realtor again with the tiny homes, people are moving into tinier homes or less land value. You have a project, the Tiny Homes Project, True North Tiny Home Project.
Yes, so that's a new company I started.
Okay.
And a lot because of that multi-generational living that we were doing.
Yes.
And so when we are doing that, our target market is actually the parents of those people.
Okay.
Right? Because with White Willow Design.
Yes.
And they're saying, my kid lives in the basement still, how can I get them out? But with what if the person in the basement is saying, how do I get out of here? Right? They're not going to come to us and have them redesign their parents' house.
No.
Right? So I said, how can we help these people when they are the ones who want to get out? And so the tiny home movement that's been growing over the last few years, actually since 1987, believe it or not. But
we've just heard about it in the past few years. But
and Ontario is way behind most other places, but that's okay. We're getting there now. But now's the time to start, especially with the passing of laneway suites in Hamilton and Toronto, and that's how we're going to be marketing this.
Yeah.
But that's how we thought we were going to be marketing it, and to save the millennials who are wanting to go to their parents' basement.
Yeah.
However, once we launched and came to the marketplace, the overwhelming response was from people who want to retire and downsize.
Interesting.
So now we're changing our focus.
So you had one done, and to sell it, your market was a millennial, and during the selling process, you realized the market was actually 55 plus?
Yes.
Interesting.
But the millennials want to live still in town, and that's where the laneway suites come into effect. So either Hamilton or Toronto can do that now. But the 55 plus age, the baby boomers, they want to live in a community of like-minded people, and they want to hang out.
Yes.
Right? So we're not talking assisted living. We're talking people who still want to go out and do things. So what we're designing now, the project we're working on, is an adult lifestyle tiny home community in the Niagara region.
Cool.
So we're actively looking for property. We have investors lined up. And we are planning to build a 50-home community surrounding a community center, which would have dining hall, laundry room, gym, coffee shop.
Oh, very cool.
Maybe eventually a pool.
Yeah.
There'll be a sports field, right? So, they want to play volleyball or something like that. Trails in the back, that sort of thing. But a little bit more removed, so it's where you might want to go retire.
Yeah.
But close enough still to a town. So we have a few sites in mind, but close enough still to a town so you can go there if you want.
Go into the town.
We'll do trips to, to casinos or...
How much can be in that community?
Market.
Can you have like a bar, or restaurant, or no?
I don't know. I think that might... We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an eventual thing.
Yeah, that's true. As you grow those projects,
Yeah.
How big would be the land for that?
So we're looking for a minimum of 10 to 15 acres.
Yeah.
If we get 30 though, then that'll leave enough room to have trails in the back or to have a second expansion on the same property.
Very cool.
So 10 to 15 will get us a community center and maybe 45 to 50 homes.
Okay.
But if we have more land than that, we can always add another 25, 30 homes later.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So we're looking for 10 people
Okay.
to commit. So the investors will come on board.
Yes.
And then the whole thing can move forward.
Okay, so 10 people, 55 plus, looking for an adult lifestyle, tiny home living.
Yes. And so the way to get to that is maybe all those the real estate agents who focus on the
downsizers,
older generation who are downsizing.
Yeah, cool. How do we reach you?
You can go to either one of my websites at whitewillowdesign.ca or truenorthtinyhomes.ca.
Okay. That.
And my phone number's on there too.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing all of this.
Hey, no problem.
And then,
thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hopefully we get 10 people 55 plus.